I'm going to talk about the Bahiya Sutta. So, Bahiya was a bhikkhu, a practitioner in Buddha's time, and he had heard about this teacher, and he was an ardent spiritual seeker, and he felt really compelled to find this teacher, the Buddha, and see what he had to say. And so he journeyed and he found the teacher, and he happened upon the Buddha when he was doing alms round. So it's their one meal a day. The monks go out to the village and get their food, and so the Buddha told them, "This isn't really the right time. I'm doing alms round." But he was insistent, and he said something along the lines of, "You never know how much time you have, um, so it's important to get these teachings while you have the opportunity." And that's really the heart of what the sutta is talking about: is practice today, live ardently. You don't know that you'll have another chance. And this is true, whether you realize it or not. We don't know the time of our death, and it's important to practice while we have the opportunity. And it creates an urgency in the practice, and to live your life the right way, rather than to have regret at the end of your time. And so he pestered the Buddha until he finally gave him a teaching. And I touched briefly on this in an earlier video on the Satipatthana Sutta. Um, the teaching that the Buddha gave Bahiya was, in the seen there is only the seen, in the heard there is only the heard, and so on with the senses, including the mind, which in Buddhism is considered one of the senses. In the thought there is only the thought. And so what he's saying is these things are just what they are, and we tend to create elaborate stories around them, assign them values, we have ideals, concepts, and it's really, but the scene is just the scene, and that's all it is. And that's a big part of what the Buddha practiced. And he felt unpleasant sensations, but he just left them where they are. He didn't turn them into a self. He didn't make them a problem. He didn't tell a story around them, starring I, of course. And so this was the pith of the teaching that the Buddha gave to Bahiya, and who was not long after, he was killed. And so he had a chance to liberate, to free his mind before his time was up. And that's really what the Bahiya Sutta is talking about: is wake up and realize that your days are numbered, and you can't people, we just tend to treat it like we're just going to go on, and you don't even know that you're going to have another breath. So what are you going to do with your time? That's your decision, but that's my synopsis of the Bahiya Sutta.